David MacKinnon.
David MacKinnon.
MacKinnon!
非常にいいバッティングをしています。レフトへ伸びていくか、下がって狙いった、見上げた、デビッド・マキノン。
Welcome back to Pacific Swings. I'm Jasper, and obviously here with my co-host, Mr. David MacKinnon.
And today we're talking to Enmanuel DeJesus.
And this guy's been on quite a journey. He's from Venezuela originally, signed with the Boston Red Sox when he was just 16 years old in 2013. So he's been grinding in professional baseball for over a decade.
Right, and he's bounced around. Red Sox system, Giants, Marlins. Had a really tough MLB debut in Miami in 2023. Went to Korea, completely turned things around. Low-key, kind of our dreams. Like, I was a Red Sox fan, you're a Marlins fan. He's kind of lived our dreams.
He's kind of lived our dreams, yeah. We're just here behind the podcast microphone, yeah. But yeah, and we're going to get into this in the conversation, but he had a pretty remarkable, rise to eventually making it to the majors. He ended up making his debut with the Miami Marlins in 2023, but that's after a decade of being in the minor leagues. When we talk about minor league baseball, or at least we talk about professional baseball, I think many people have got this sort of rosy image of, well, that's great, you're being a professional baseball player, you must earn tons of money. It's like, nope. That's not the case.
Yeah, no. So I remember our weekly paycheck was about $400 my first couple of years. We earned no money. We have expenses still. Depending, pretty much you're living off your signing bonus. And if you're like me, without a signing bonus, you have to work a lot in the off season in order to try to pay for things. So yeah, man, it's a grind.
I feel like Enmanuel DeJesus, talking to him, he's the type of guy you want to go root for. This guy has been through it. Started his professional career at 16. Being away from his family for a long time. He even got to pitch in WBC, which we're getting into. Being on the same team as one Miguel Cabrera, he might ring a bell.
Really good guy to talk to. So yeah, let's bring him on. So we got Enmanuel DeJesus today. Welcome to Pacific Swings.
Thank you so much, guy. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming on, dude. Tried to set this up for a little while, and I'm excited to have you on. We kind of got to know each other a little bit back in we didn't get to know each other, but we faced each other in 2022, which was fun when you were with the Giants at that point.
Yeah.
Start at the beginning. You signed with the Sox when you were 16. Growing up in Venezuela, was that kind of your dream to play professional baseball, but like it was far-fetched, or like you thought the opportunity was kind of gonna happen at some point? Or did that change everything for you?
Honestly, I started playing baseball as a kid when I was 4 years old. I never thought that, I had the chance to play as a professional. I just playing for fun. Then when I get older, well, not older, but a little bit older, like 13 years old, I have some scouts from an academy back in Venezuela. They were like, hey, you're really good. You have a really good talent. I think you should start looking for practice in academy to get to professional baseball. And, I that's the moment when I realized I have the chance to play professional, and, I take it a little bit more seriously. And obviously it was my dream to, be able to play baseball. I grew up actually really close to the stadium for the team that I play in Winter League in Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go a lot to the stadium when I was younger. It was a couple years later, have the chance to be in the stadium. It was a dream that I never thought I'm gonna be able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I would just like, could you elaborate a little bit on just for a lot of the viewers and honestly, I don't really know too much about it too. Like from that age 13 to 16 years old, when you're in academy in the Latin American countries, what's that like?
What's your life like?
Yeah, what's your life like?
Well, at the beginning, it was a little bit tough because my mom is a teacher. She's the principal for a school in Venezuela. So she was like, usually what the guys do is they quit, high school, and they just go straight to the academy and practice pretty much all day long. But for me, my mom said it was like, if you want to go and practice baseball, you got to give me good grades in school. If not, you're not going to go to. So for me, it was a little bit more that I have to be able to, put good grades so I'd be able to go to the academy. That was for like year and a half until I was like 14 and a half. And that's when I signed my first professional contract, actually, for
Okay.
Magallanes. That's the team that I play with in Winter League in Venezuela. So I guess from that moment, my parents take a little bit more seriously and they understand a little bit more and give me a little bit more freedom to, focus on the baseball side until the age of 16 when I was able to sign with the Red Sox.
But I
But
mean,
basically was the last year from 15 to 16, I was training from, I don't know, 8:30 in the morning to like 1, 2 p.m. Go home, rest for a little bit, and then I have to go to school during nighttime from 6 p.m. to 9.
That's like
So yeah.
college. Honestly, that's like
Yeah.
college.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the guys, I mean, you're 14 at that point.
Yeah.
15, 14,
But
15. That's just
but
incredible.
that's not a really common way to do it in
Okay.
Latin America,
Yeah.
What would you
But
say?
my mom is really strict.
Well, my mom's strict too. What would you say is the more common, like the conventional way? If say your mom wasn't strict and like it was like baseball only.
Well, nowadays, when the younger guys, like 12, 13 years old, they just
Yeah.
quit school and they go straight practice baseball and, they spend the whole day at the stadium trying to get better and trying to, have the chance to sign when they have 16 years old. Because one of the crazy things that I think about the way or the process they do in Latin America is if you're 17 years old, you're already old. Like, it's really weird to see they sign somebody over 16 years old. And for me, I have seen many guys exercise with 17, 18 years old, throwing 95 plus, and they don't sign. Like, they
Crazy.
didn't get the chance. And for me, it's like they're still pretty young. They still have chance to develop and they still have room. But, I don't know. That's the way the market works in there. And, they say you over 16, you're way too old.
Honestly, that though is quite similar to the way that European football works here in Europe. It's like you come to that point where you're 15, 16 and you're not in an academy at a really high level. Like you might as well just stop playing. And
Yeah.
it's like for late bloomers, I don't know if you can call someone throwing 95 a late bloomer. It feels like they do a pretty good job. But it's just different, and it's the age gap. And I mean, it's if to me it feels like it's too early to say whether someone can make it or not make it, because you can maybe measure how fast they throw a fastball, but you can't
Yeah.
really measure their heart at that point. Like if they're fully into it, who knows where that road takes them. And if their opportunity diminishes because, I don't know, scouts say, well, yeah, we take that guy but we don't take that guy, it feels weird. But then so let me talk about 16 years old, you signed the contract with the Red Sox. Does that mean you immediately have to travel to America and
Yeah.
basically leave your
No.
family, or what does that mean exactly?
Well, yeah, I have to leave my family, but not travel to America. For us, the Latin American players, the first level is Dominican Summer League. So I signed my contract on July 2nd of 2013, and I traveled like 2 days later to Dominican. And I stayed there the first time for like 3 or 4 months. For me, it was really, really difficult and really tough to make the adjustment.
Yeah.
I grew up with my parents. I have two sisters. I'm the youngest one, the only boy in the house. So, I was like they pay attention to me and I never do anything at my home. So the first time I have to go away from them and, staying in Dominican, an academy where we sleep back in those days, it was like 14 guys in a room. You're not allowed to go outside at all. Only Saturday after the game, that was like 2, 3 p.m. You have curfew at 9 p.m. So you have to go outside, take a bus, probably right an hour to get to the closest mall to eat something different and come back because you don't have time to do anything. So for me, the most difficult part was the first level of Dominican Summer League. But when you just sign the contract, they send you to Dominican and you do something kind of like intern where, you start, preparing yourself and learning how the organization works and everything until next year. That's when you play your first summer league or your first level?
Gosh. Yeah, no, dude, I don't even understand how you guys could do that. At 16 years old, that's crazy because I went to college at 18 and I was only 2 hours away from home, could go home on the weekends if they didn't have this like sporting event or something. And like the first half of the first semester, like I struggled away from home at 18. And part of that was my parents took care of me pretty well. It was like,
They're babying
it's
you.
a culture shock, dude. You're like, I got to do my laundry. Like, I got to do all this stuff on my own. So, yeah, I struggled with that too. And I was only 2 hours away, like, not in a completely different country on my own. Starting, like, you're actually in your professional career at that point, a lot more pressure, and you're 16. Like, no one, in my opinion, is ready for that at that age, you know?
So
So,
something similar happened to me. On my first pro season, I was 16, Dominican. I was one of the highest signing bonus ever for a pitcher for international sign for the Red Sox back in those days. So I was like, the ace of the team, like the number one. So we have a pretty solid team. We even make to the finals that year. We lose the finals against the Texas Rangers, I remember. But the first half of the season, I was so struggling. I was really bad. I think I was like 2 wins, 6 lose, like I don't know, 5-something ERA. I was really struggling. And I put a lot of pressure on me because I was, the highest signing bonus. But during the All-Star break, I flew my parents in to Dominican. They stayed with me for a month. And I think over that month, I threw like 28 innings without allowing a single run. So I killed the second half
yeah,
with
I
my
mean, dude,
parents in there.
it definitely, you don't realize, like, also when you're that age, you don't realize that your parents are pretty cool, and you're like, wow, like you guys aren't too bad, like, I was like, gosh, they're just keeping me all cooped up, like they don't want me to be cool, like they don't want me to do anything. But like when you get to the point where like you don't have your parents around, you're like, gosh, they just kind of wanted what was best for me, They didn't,
Yeah.
they weren't
Yeah.
as bad as I thought,
Yeah, you don't realize it what you have until you lose it. You
Yeah,
didn't
no,
realize
you
everything your
don't
parents
realize it.
do for you until like, you by yourself in a different country. And that's when you realize, oh, I miss my parents. I miss whatever my mom do to me and my dad do to me. That's the moment when you really miss everything.
I would get homesick being 2 days away from my parents.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine how difficult that is, and even at that age, thinking about myself when I was 16, I wouldn't have been anywhere near ready for anything like that. Right? I mean, I'm 30 now. I don't know. I don't know if I'd be ready for that now.
No.
But it's so when does that transition to the US become a reality for you? So you start in Dominican. Obviously, first half season doesn't go as well, but then you start dealing a little bit. But what is the next? What are the next steps, basically?
That was the same year after the season finished. They sent me to Intrax, but in the United States. They do two types of Intrax, one in Dominican and one in the United States. So that was end of the year in 2014. I went to my first Intrax in the US. It was a huge difference for me because you have a lot of more freedom, even though that you have a curfew. They say curfew every night, but you're able to eat whatever you want after the game. You're able to go get your own food. Like in the academy in Dominican, you have to eat whatever they have in the kitchen. If not, you're not gonna eat anything because you're not allowed to go outside. So for me, when I was able to fly and start playing in the States, it was way better. It was a huge difference.
That makes it, I mean, it definitely makes it way easier, I think, when you have a little more freedom to eat what you want, do what you want. You kind of were living my dream at that age because in 2013, when you signed, I'm from Boston originally.
Yeah.
So I graduated high school, so I'm 2 years older than you.
Okay.
But I graduated high school in 2013, but I was the huge Red Sox fan all the way growing up, love the Manny Ramirez, like Big
David
Papi,
Ortiz,
Nomar,
Pedro
yeah,
Martinez.
all of
Yeah.
them, dude. Pedro, Nomar Garcia Parra. So those are my guys when I grew up, and I got to watch the 2004 World Series when they broke it. 2003 hurt when they the Yankees hit the walk-off
Yeah.
homer in the LCS. But yeah, no, so I've been following it all the way up, all the World Series.
And
So yeah, you were just
I
living the
think
dream.
I think 2013 they won the World Series, right? It
Yeah,
was 13 or 14.
2004, 7, 13,
Yeah,
and 18.
2013.
Yeah, 18 too. Yeah, 2013 they did win the World Series. Yeah, when I graduated and when you signed, so that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, it was pretty sick. I have
So-
a ring. They gave it to me, a fake one, obviously. But I have it was pretty sick. I have them at home.
That's awesome.
They
So
give
you
it to
spent-
everybody, like all the minor leagues.
Everyone in the org. That's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
It was pretty
Dude,
cool.
you know what's a fun fact for me? I've never gotten a ring until Puerto Rico this past winter ball season. I haven't
really?
got it yet, but we won one in we won the championship in Puerto Rico, so I will get a ring at some point.
I only got one, so don't worry. We even. I only
So
get one when I play rookie level in Fort
Okay.
Myers.
Yeah,
We won
yeah.
the championship in 2015. That's the only
Okay.
one that I got.
So you spent almost an entire decade in the minors, right?
Yes.
Almost, right? So Red Sox, Giants, Marlins. I'm not missing any, right? That's it.
No, correct.
What kept you going all those years? Because I spent like 3-ish full seasons in the minor. Dude, it is hard, especially the lower
Oh my
levels.
god.
Especially when you were there, dude. When you're not getting paid much,
Yeah.
the food is not very good until you get to about AA or AAA. Honestly,
Even those levels are not that good.
no, not that
sometimes.
great either. Especially when you weren't when there wasn't the minor league rules now
On
in
the
place,
player association. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, what kept you going? Like, that's 10 years, dude. That's a long time.
Well, like the dream of making to the big leagues, that once you get into the professional baseball player, all you think about is make it to the big league at least one day, make
Mhm.
that dream came true. So I think that's what pushed me forward to, keep it going, because as you say, it wasn't that easy, especially my first couple of years where we minor league wasn't in the player association. I have so many history that, I remember when I played single A, Greenville Drive, South Carolina, we get paid like, I think it was like $700 a month.
Yep, that sounds right.
The rent for the house was like $1,600 for the apartment, empty.
Yeah, no,
Plus, you got to
empty.
pay service, you got to pay your own food, transportation to the field, a bunch of things that you got to put on top of that. So I remember we lived 11 or 12 guys in a 2-bedroom apartment. It was 2 in each room and like 4 in the living room. I remember I sleep in the kitchen. We just put a air mattress in there and I sleep in there, so we can save some money and be able to pay everything.
Yeah, dude. I mean, people don't realize that either. The norm back then, before there were rules for the Players Association for the minors, was like, all right, like if you're living, so say you're playing in the Cal League, like California is expensive for
My God,
like
so
apartments. So
expensive.
you're like, yeah, so you're gonna be like, you're out. I don't know, a small apartment's gonna be like 2,500 to 3,000. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
you're like, how are we gonna afford this? We're making $1,000 a month, So you're just all right. Like we had 8 dudes in a 2-bedroom. I mean, not me. We had a host. I had a couple friends out there, so we had a host family out there, which was great for us. But like a lot of my teammates were and there's no privacy. You can't talk to significant others.
Nothing.
You can't have people you can't have your significant other visit unless you want to go stay in a hotel for freaking.
Yeah, but you
A
can
week.
offer a hotel. Let's
That's
say if you have
expensive
your girlfriend
too.
coming in, you can offer a hotel for a week, because then you're not gonna have how to pay at the end of the month, the
Yeah.
rent and
You'll be
everything.
broke. Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. So it's just like, well,
Well,
it's tough.
for me at least, one thing that helped me was the signing bonus. I was a
Yeah.
little bit smart and save a little bit, but the reality, even with that, it was really tough to do it. Honestly, it was
Yeah, and, like,
crazy.
you signed for a good chunk of change. Like I had signed for no change, so I had to like figure out ways to like host family here. Like we needed all the help we could get, and like fortunately
Yeah.
we had people in my corner where my aunt and uncle in Scottsdale. Whenever we had spring training or I was injured, we stayed with them, and then we had a host family. My
So you
college
get a good
teammate.
money in spring training.
yeah.
I
Better
wish
money.
I can do that.
Right?
It was what was it? $450 a week? I think it was.
Ours wasn't that much, I don't think.
Even
The
like
Angels
even
found
living
ways
outside,
around it, man. The Angels found some ways, man.
even the Marlins. My last
Ugh.
year with the Marlins, I was on big league cat invited, and I have rooming on my hotel room.
Yeah,
It's like this is the first time like I have a roomie on big league camp. Like it
that's
makes no sense.
crazy.
Yeah,
I never went to big league camp, so
It's just like watching two guys depict their minor league struggles, their
oh, if
minor
you
league
want
pain,
if you
man.
want a full blown episode on minor
oh
league
my god,
struggles, we could do this. We could have a minute long
so
again.
many,
We'll just go
so
back and
many. I
forth.
have so many,
But
so many.
Emmanuel, I'd really want to pivot back to what David also asked. But what is it that keeps you going through all those years? I know you set the dream to play in the major leagues one day, and I think that for many baseball players, I mean that's the ultimate goal, right? You want to be a major leaguer, you want to stay up there for a long time. But it's what keeps you going through that? Is that family constantly in your ear and constantly reminding you of because I can imagine you spent 10 years in the minor leagues. You're going to have days where, maybe your stuff doesn't work on a baseball field and you spend the evening pretty much sort of doubting yourself and thinking, what the heck am I still doing here? Or what was that like for you?
You know, as I say, always the dream. It was the first thing, but I have my family support all the time. Back in those days, I have my family supporting me, my mom, my dad. Always push me through the tough situation of the tough things that we have to go through a season or through many years. Many injuries, many things happen. That I always have the support of my family. But also I think for us as a Latin American people, I think we a little bit more, what's the best way to say, into make it to the big league because the things that we have in our country, pretty much I said when I was 16 years old, if I get released, if I quit playing, honestly, I don't have anything else to do. Like
Mhm.
I wasn't able to go to high school and finish my high school, get a degree or something. So we take a little bit more seriously or a little bit more deep because we don't have the same opportunity that you guys have in the States as Americans. Like you
Mhm.
guys in there have more chance. I see so many guys during my career that, they just retire because they have a degree and they didn't make that much money in minor league time. So they just go and work and make way more money. And, I respect that. It makes sense. But for us as a Latin American, I mean, if I go back to my country, what are I going to do? If I quit baseball, and I'm pretty sure the case for a lot of the Latin American guys that they're trying to, get the dream through, obviously, but, obviously they're trying to take the family to a better position.
But is that sort of mindset sort of deeply embedded in you at that time then, where you feel like it doesn't sound like giving up is even an option, right? You're just gonna keep going until your arm falls off, or I don't know, someone tells
Yes.
you like, just we don't want you anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna keep going. I'll, they always say once you have the uniforms, you have the chance to put a uniform. You also have the chance to make the big league. So you gotta keep going until you have any more chance.
Mhm.
Like nobody calling you or your arm fell or something happened.
I mean, it's definitely giving us, I think, a different perspective
It
on
gives
sort
me a
of
different perspective because, like, I mean, I obviously graduated from high school. I got drafted after I got a degree. I was a pretty decent student too, so
Yeah.
you're a nerd. Like, tell the
yeah, I was a
people,
nerd, dude.
like, give the people the truth, Dave.
Yeah, all right. I graduated
Why
summa
cum
cum
laude?
laude, but I didn't know what that meant. So let's put that in perspective. But yeah, no, I was smart and currently still smart. No, people might not see that on this podcast, but still smart. But it just gives me more of an option where I was like, you know what? For me, this past year when I retired, I was like, if I don't get a job in Asia or in AAA, like I'm good. Like I'm done. Like I'm just gonna figure out what I want to do next. And at some point, like I'll figure it. Like we're starting different things here. But like, yeah, there's no like internal pressure where I was like, I gotta keep going. Like gotta keep going. Gotta keep going. And because like I see the pressure that you have and other Latin American players have because Even I think of it as the high school kids, the high school kids that get drafted out of high school. Like, it's like, what are they going to do after? They just keep playing, They play independent ball for a long time, but what else did they do, So
Yeah,
I
that's what
totally get it.
happened when you sign too early. I think 16 years old is way too early, able to get any degrees or something,
Yeah.
a second option that you have, like you say, okay, I'm not going to play any more ball, but I have this option that I
Yeah.
can do.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I
it's
mean, it
almost
definitely
like
made it easier.
yeah, sort of a plan B, right? And it's I mean, plan B sounds bad. I know it sounds bad, but just sort of having an alternate option in your head, like maybe you sign at 18, 19, you get to finish at least one degree, and then you move on, right? And it feels like, yeah, that whole system, the way it's organized in Latin America, it's not necessarily benefiting the majority of the players. It's benefiting the teams. And I mean, I know
Yes.
that's what sports has always been like, and that's what sports will always be. But it just feels like that could be organized in a much better way.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, let's pivot to something very cool, because you represented Venezuela, your country, at the 2023 World Baseball Classic. I mean, we can sort of imagine that be a huge honor, right? What was that experience like for you?
Oh my God, that's probably one of the best experience that I ever had. Maybe not the best one, it was a unbelievable experience for me. Honestly, I wasn't expecting to be on that team. To be honest, like we have so much talent, you know,
Yeah.
we have so many names, so many different actions, but things happens, and thanks God I was able to be in that team, and share locker rooms with superstars, especially with Miguel Cabrera. That, it was like the goal. That he was the last WBC. He was retired that year. It was really, really awesome experience.
I mean, talk to me about that team though, because Miguel Cabrera, obviously, like everyone knows who Miguel Cabrera is. I mean, if you not know, if you don't know his name, you
Who's
haven't
that?
been watching. Who's that? Yeah, Dave. He's a bit of a stud. Played for a long time. But I mean, that team was just a really cool team, and I think you came in relief for another great pitcher from Venezuela, Jesus Luzardo, who just, I don't know, is just a guy who's electric to watch.
I faced him.
How did that go, Dave?
Not well.
Not well.
No.
But I mean, it's not, no one does well against him. I think
No,
he's
I mean,
one
it
of
was the
one of-
righty-lefty matchup, like
Yeah.
if you're a righty, you have to hit the lefties, even they throw like 98 and
Oh,
the ball moves a lot.
Yeah, that's tough.
And the nicest slider. Oh, I don't think so.
Oh,
It's an easy
dude, it moves
matchup.
so much.
But
Yeah.
what is that phone call like for you, Emmanuel? Because you said you didn't expect it. So who called you? Who broke the news to you that you were going to be on this team?
Well,
You were going to represent your country.
Yeah, they started calling me like I was playing winter ball in Dominican the year before. So they started calling me since like December of 2022, like asking me if I would like to be in the team. Obviously, I said yes. For me, it would be, I was free agent. That was after I played with the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, that's going to be a huge honor for me being able to be in the team. So I was like, okay, we're going to make a list. It's going to be 60 main list. 30 pitcher, in the team, yeah, we're going to make some cuts. And then I was in sprint training, remember, they called me and they say, hey, you're going to be in the player pool. The player pool is 10 players that are going to be with the team, just in case something happened, you can be in. So I remember I told them that I trying to get a spot here with the Marlins. So if I'm going to be in the player pool, I'd rather stay sprint training because, it's pretty close. We were doing sprint training in West Palm Beach. Something happen, I will be able, to join the team real quick. But like a week later, they call me and they say, I don't remember who was. I think it was Herman Marquez. They get injured and they say, hey, we want you to be in the team. Will you like to? I was like, for sure, bro.
Yeah, let me give me a few. Yeah, give me.
Let me check. Yeah, I don't even ask my agent. I don't even ask anything. I remember that was after practice. I was about to get asleep. I get to my room at the hotel and I get a phone call from Omar Lopez, the manager of the WBC. I was like, hey, are you in? I was like, yeah, right away. Let me know when I have to meet the team. I don't even have to think about.
Where was your first round? Was it in the U.S. or was it in?
Yeah, it was in Miami. The whole round was in Miami. So we were pretty close. Yeah.
That was the only
Actually,
time
we
Marlins
do-
Park was sold out.
Yeah, actually, we do spring like the exhibition games and the practice we did in West Palm Beach. So I was training there with the Marlins, so it was
Super
perfect.
Ideal.
convenient. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so cool. And I think the WBC in 23 was just one of the best tournaments.
I have a funny history. I remember the first day or like the report day. It was in a nice hotel in West Palm Beach. I don't remember the name, but we have just a meeting. But I wasn't staying at the hotel because I have an apartment that I got for spring training. So I was just going for the meeting, and I remember I have a Range Rover Evoque, right, the small one, and I get to the parking lot. It was only valet parking, and I saw it was like, I don't know, Tens, Lambo, Rolls Royce, like only nice cars, and I have a $25,000 car. I was like, oh my god! I was the only that haven't debuted in the big league in the whole roster, but everybody else was under contract, getting a lot of money.
Yeah. It is
So I was
funny
like,
how that,
my
dude.
I mean, how badly did imposter syndrome hit you at that point? Is it like you're just
Honestly, not that bad. I was like,
okay?
okay, I haven't make it. They understand, but I know a lot of those guys before, so they
That's the-
made me feel pretty comfortable.
I feel like that's the cool thing with some of the Latin American like countries. Like, I feel like this is what it feels like. It feels like the older guys take care of the younger guys a little bit better. Like, it seems like they all know each other a little bit more, and they like try to help each other. Where like the U.S. is so big, and you don't really get to meet everyone in the U.S. And it's just like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like, it's like, oh yeah,
for sure.
I've hit with Albert Pujols before, and like it's like an 18, 19-year-old kid, and I'm like, what? Like, how?
Yeah. That's something like in your culture. I think they trying to help each other, especially if a veteran in the league, they're trying to get advice to the youngest guy. But honestly, I feel we have a really good team chemistry in the WBC, and I think that's why we play that good. I never feel less because I wasn't the only one in the league. They made me feel like everybody was the same. It was a great experience.
What was
the first
What was
time
the car you drove up again?
a Range Rover Evoque.
I mean, you still had a Range Rover though, so that's not too
Yeah,
bad.
I mean,
it's
yeah,
not-
but the
it's
small
not
one,
bad. It
the
could be
small
worse.
one, the small one, not like
small
a
one.
small one. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I remember the first time I get into the room and everybody was there, like all the superstars. Even though that I had the chance to talk to them before, like being in that room, like sharing the same uniform, especially with the name of our country in the front, it was really special.
I mean, it's a really cool. I think I love WBCs. I can't wait for the next one, but it's
I'm
yeah, I mean,
fired up for it.
Yeah, just can't wait.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, you probably can't wait either. But let's talk about Miami though, because you just alluded to the fact you signed with the Marlins on a minor league deal initially, and then you finally get your shot at the big leagues. What was that like? Was that everything you dreamt of, or what was that day like for you?
Yeah, I mean, that was the moment that I was waiting for over 10 years, almost 10 years in the minor league, when the moment came through. And I don't know if this happened to you, David, that sometimes like you was waiting the call or you was like too thinking about like, this guy get injured, I might be, getting up.
Yeah.
And then you see they call somebody to the office, like, okay, not me. Like, not yet. But, I always was like that guy who spent a couple of years in AAA. I never had the chance to be in the big league. And the moment when I less expected to be, to get the call, that's when they call me and, hey, you're going to be in the big league tomorrow. I was like, what? What are you talking about? Like, I couldn't believe. I remember I called my wife. We were in the road trip. We were playing Louisville. And I called my wife. I was like, hey, get a ticket tomorrow to Pennsylvania. We're going to face the Phillies tomorrow. She couldn't believe. I wasn't able to, flew my parents to the States, but at least I have my wife with me.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, I mean, I definitely can relate. I didn't so much. I mean, so you're always drafted a little higher, a little more prospecty than me. So I was always just like, hopefully they eventually like see that I can hit. And they like let me go play. So I never really expected it. Obviously in 2022 when I got up there, I was kind of raking at that point.
I remember
They called me
that.
in the office and I was they called me in the office and I was like, you serious right now? They want me up there,
Are you sure? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, you sure? Are you sure about that? But yeah, so I was always. I think it helps to play GM. You know, like if you're thinking
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, this is
Yeah.
gonna make the move. Like, as soon as you play GM,
It
it's just
never worked. It's never worked.
no, because
But
like yeah,
I think obviously you need to have talent, but you need to have a little bit of lucky to
you
play
need
in
a
the big
lot
league.
of luck. You need injuries.
That's
You
what I
need
thought.
like 100%.
But
Unless you're like unless you're God's gift to baseball, right? Like
for
unless you're
me,
like
yeah, like number one prospect that
yeah,
you know you're
exactly.
gonna make it
Yeah,
anyway. But for me, it was like, yeah, I was like prospect for a while, but then after being around the league for almost 10 years, like
yeah.
I wasn't any more prospect. For me, it was like I remember we have a game at 1 p.m. that day,
Mhm.
right? If I was the starting pitcher on that game, I wouldn't get the call. Somebody else will because I'm not gonna be able to pitch. But
Exactly.
I was pitching the next day, so we play a one game finished. I don't know, like 4-5. The big league team play at night, and after the big league game over, that's when they make the call and they call me up because I need some arms. But if I pitch that game, it wouldn't be me; it would be somebody else. So
Yeah.
that's what I
That's
say. You need son of luck.
Yeah,
And
you definitely need luck.
I remember the game over. I was starting the next day. I was in my room playing video games, and I ordered some Uber Eats, some food delivery, and I had my phone on my chest playing video games with my roommate, and somebody started calling me. I don't have the phone number, and I was like, yeah, somebody trying to scan. So I just didn't pay attention, and I get one more call. I was like, I don't know what's going on. And then the third call, I was like, oh, I remember I ordered some food. So I was like, oh, it might be the delivery. So I answered and it was like, hey, Manny. I was like, wait, what? Hey, this is Kip. How are you? Good. Hey, I need you to pack. You're going to Philly tomorrow. I was like, me? Why? I don't know. They told me you need to be there. It's like, oh my God, are you serious?
Good thing you ordered that Uber Eats, dude. You might not have answered that call.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's really cool though. I always love watching guys make their debuts. I mean, it's always like you see the culmination point, and sometimes it happens a bit earlier for some guys. Some guys it happens a bit later. But it's just I don't know. It's always a special sort of. It's
I
a special
mean,
feeling to see.
it's what you work
Yeah,
for your whole career for sure.
for
And
sure.
like
Yeah.
and like, dude, sometimes like for you, like obviously when you got your or signed your contract, you're like, oh, I want to be up there in 5 years. That's and like that doesn't always work out. So for me and you, I feel like that kind of like jump started our career or gave us options for other things. It gave us
Yeah.
the overseas options at that point, which is huge. Now you can actually provide for your family. So I think it's once you touch a big league field, life kind of can change.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. I remember I got an auction to came here in 2022 when I was with the Giants. And the team didn't let me come here. The GM from the
Yeah.
Giants say no, we like him, we're not gonna sell him, and basically that's it. He didn't even answer any more the phone. I
Yeah.
was like, no, we like him. I remember the guy texted me. I was like, hey, will you consider an overseas offer? I was making good money in AAA, but I was in Sacramento, tax, life expensive, really high. So
And
after all that,
Sacramento is just
my God, I didn't have the chance to save a lot of money. And when they made me the fair offer, I was making the numbers. I'm like, oh my God, that's way more than what I'm making here for sure. Dude. Send me the ticket. I go there.
I'll be there tomorrow, dude. Just send me
Yeah.
the
So
ticket.
that was 2022 when you first got interest from overseas. Because I'm
Yes.
always interested to sort of see. Obviously, we've sort of elaborated on David's story on this podcast, but sort of to see how that happens. How do these scouts sort of find you? How do the scouts
A lot of times it's over a bunch of years. It's like I remember Mark Payton got a call like a couple of years prior, and like he was on their radar for a couple of years. Usually it's not like my situation where it's like, oh, I hit good one year, like let's sign him. Usually it's multiple years and then they sign someone.
They taking you for a while. Yeah, I remember even the scout that we have here in KT. He said he checked me since I was with the Red Sox. So that was a long time ago. They have scouts in every I think AAA and AA game, checking everybody and making history that, whenever the chance came, they make the best decision. But I remember at that point, I had the opportunity to come in here. I was willing to, but, the God's plan was different. They did give me the opportunity to come in here. And then the next year, I was able to make to the big leagues.
Right, and then okay, so you make it to the big leagues, obviously. So that's the big check mark
Yeah,
done. You've made it to the
exactly.
big leagues. So then I think Kiwoom calls.
Yeah.
They want to offer you a contract. What's that first reaction for you like? Is that straight away? Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go to Korea, or any
Well,
hesitation?
I remember I ended up the year on the roster, on the 40-man roster. So when you're on the 40-man roster, you're not able to get any contract from overseas. And they changed GM, and like mid-December, like 8 to 15, I got DFA. Like, remember they called me like, "Hey, we're gonna DFA you, but we want you to stay with team. Like, we're gonna offer you a minor league deal." So I was like, with my agent, I told him, let's wait a little bit to see if something else show up. Any other team maybe want to offer a big league contract or something. And that's when Kim get in the conversation. They call my agent. They say, hey, we want to bring him over here. I talked to my agent in 2022. I was about to take it. And in 2023, after I made to the big league, I was like, sure. One thing that I always have really present is like, I know I'm not gonna play until I have 60 years old. It's baseball career like kind of short. So you gotta take the opportunity and the advantage whenever you have the chance,
Yeah.
and you gotta be smart about, because you're not gonna be playing ball when you're 45. So you gotta be smart about right now that you have the chance to get your money, save it, be smart with it. So when you get to the point where you're gonna retire, you have a plan B that you can live with without any thinking about what's gonna be next.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's fans don't quite realize the financial aspect of it as well. Like both of you guys went through the same thing where it's like you're not making a lot of money in the minor leagues. Well, certainly not in the early years. And then all of a sudden, someone gives you a contract with probably more zeros than you've seen in your life. So
Yeah.
it just changes the conversation, doesn't it? But then also, you have to be willing. You have to be willing to take that step, take that leap to Korea in your case. But I think looking at your stats for the first season in with Kiwoom,
Pretty good stats.
very good. Let's fire you up a little bit.
I'll
Yeah,
fire him up.
do that. Go on.
13 and 11. 13 and 11 is very impressive. 13 wins, 11 losses, as that team was not very good last year.
We were in the last
no
place.
knock on them. They were
Yeah.
last place. They did not win many games, but they did win games when he pitched. So 13 and 11, 3.68 ERA, and I would say a more hitter-friendly league in general. 78 strikeouts. A lot of strikeouts for Korea. So pretty much like, I would say, did you completely like turn around something? Did you change something when you got over there? Or it was just like my stuff plays here and I kind of figured out how to get these guys out?
Honestly, the funny history at the beginning of spring camp and, spring training and first couple of games, they were looking for a replacement for me because my ERA during spring camp was like 15. I don't know, it was something so bad. Like in
Dude,
here
they're
they
looking
say like,
for a replacement after like one bad game over there.
Yeah, let's
But
give them
they're always there. Hey, whoa. Dave went
Yeah.
0 for 4 today. Let's get him out of here,
Yeah. And that's how they are. And then next day you improve like, and okay, let's give one more week. That's how they are.
No,
But
yeah.
I have a really bad spring. I think the baseball, I don't know how you feel, Dave. Here is way different than the baseball that we used to play in the States.
No,
You
it's
know,
a completely different sport.
it's way different. Like for me, coming from playing in the States where everybody is trying to hit a hammer, land angle, hit a fly ball. Here, my first couple of games, I was like, how he make contact with that pitch that far away? And they put the ball in play, and they even give you a blooper, and they soft ground ball, and they get safe, and then they steal second, they steal third base, and you have a huge problem. Or I see so many times too, like for me, it happened first and second hitter, first inning, first and second hitter on base, 3 hole come in, hitting 340 and hit bunt.
Yeah.
That's it. They move the runner third and seconds, and then you need to figure it out what you're gonna do next.
Yeah.
So it's a way different baseball they play here. For me, it took me a little bit to make the adjustment and figure it out how to pitch. I think I realized my high fastball plays pretty well in here.
Your high fastball
against
plays
them.
everywhere pretty well.
Well, but I honestly, that was one thing I never realized when I played in the States.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, I feel like when I play in the States, I never realized how good my fastball is because I'm not throwing 100 like everybody.
No, yeah, no.
So I was like, I'm not a power pitcher, but I had a pitching coach that told me this fastball plays pretty well. But
Yes.
I never realized it because I'm not trying 100. But when I get here, I got a little bit more confidence on my fastball because I probably throw harder than the league average, here in the KBO. So I start playing more with my fastball and that made my breaking ball and my, my soft pitches way better.
Yeah.
So I think that was the biggest game change for me last year.
I mean, for me, like I remember facing you and your fastball was good. Like in AAA, it was good. Like when you got it to start like belt high, it just like you have that late, like it's coming in, but it late,
like sticky,
the late, like up and away.
The late,
Yeah. So a lot of guys have like it just rides. Yours has like the late, like kind of that way. So yeah, I mean, I always struggled with the lefties who could do that. I loved hitting lefties, but if you had like a high ride fastball that was like kind of taken off away late, those guys are tough. So yeah, I mean, we could have had a conversation early. I could have coached you up pitching, and it would have been easy. But yeah, no, I mean, dude,
for me was that was the biggest game change. Trusting a little bit more on my fastball in here. Even these years have been a little bit more.
It looks like it got better too, though.
Yes, I've been working on it. On the changeup, the number says is way better than last year.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't feel the same. But, the result has been there. It's not consistently, but the results have been way better than last year with the changeup.
Well, I just want to throw this out there. I'm going to fire him up again, okay?
Yeah.
I think I probably had about 12 at-bats in my career against you. I think. Probably. We faced each other twice in AAA, and we faced each other twice last year.
Yeah.
Last year. I have one hit against him. One hit. That's it. I'm like 1 for 12 against him. However, I did hit a bomb off him, okay?
I remember that.
There we go.
I remember that one. That was the game where I make the catch. I missed the spot. That was the game where I made the catch behind the back or not? I think that was the game.
I think it was that game. You shoved against us. It was just you let up. It was one mistake. And I was on a heater then. My first at bat, you punched me out on a high fastball.
Yeah.
I swung at a pitch that almost went by my eyes, and I was like, "Why did I swing at that?" Like, I have no idea. I was like, "That fastball must be good," because I don't swing at that normally. But yeah, we were like, I got to show him. We got to show him because he's punched me out probably 5 times in my 12 at bats.
We'll make sure to incorporate some of that video in the episode.
Yeah, we'll find that video too.
We'll
and
do
make
a
sure
whole
we put
different
that
intro. We'll do a whole intro on just Enmanuel striking you out, Dave. That sounds like
I think that's good. Honestly, the people will like that. But hey, this is partly my show, okay? And if I ever we can throw a couple homers in there every once in a while.
I respect that.
Hit one, we got to fire you up, Dave. Like it's gotta.
Yeah, every once in a while. I only had like 30 of those in my career.
But Enmanuel, like. Really solid first year in Korea, obviously.
Unbelievable first year, honestly.
And then you moved to KT Wiz.
Yeah.
Was that sort of your choice to move, or how did that free agency process work for you?
Well, honestly, it was something that I wasn't expecting. It was really a surprise movement by them. They only let me go, but they let go Ariel Jurado too. He's with Samsung now. We were I will say top 2 pitchers, at least on quality starts.
No, you guys were like the dynamic duo.
I think he threw 23 quality start out of 30.
Yeah, he's a quality start machine.
Oh my God, he made it look so easy. Right after the season, when the season done, like a week later, he called me and I was like, "Hey, the team's gonna release me. They're not gonna bring me back." I was like, "Wait, what?" He was like, "Yeah, I just give you a heads up. hey, they might gonna stay only with you because they say it's gonna be too expensive for them. They're not trying to compete right now, so they're gonna let me go. I was like, oh, I couldn't believe like you were the best pitcher in the league last year, if you ask me. Like a couple days later, I got an email from them saying like, "Oh, we're so happy with you. We're gonna bring you back." I was like, "Okay, cool." I remember I went on a vacation. I took a cruiser for like 2 weeks with my wife. Chill. After I finished all my vacation, I called my aunt. Like, "Hey, what's going on?" Like, they say they're gonna bring me back, but it's been like 20 days, and I haven't heard anything to them. We get into the deadline. So a week before the deadline, they say, "Hey, we're not gonna bring you back. We changed plans. We're gonna release you." Like, my God. I mean, at some point, I appreciate they release me. They don't
Yeah,
stay with your rights.
I was talking
They
to Jasper about that. I was like, it is a good thing they released them and didn't give them like a really bad qualifying offer. Because
yeah,
if they did that,
yeah,
then they can't sign elsewhere.
yeah, correct. So I think they were right in the way they managed that. They released me and Ariel. They released both, so we were able to sign with any other team.
Yeah. I think that's like a respectable way to do business there. I mean, I don't think that would happen all the time, personally.
No,
I think some teams would be like, no, we don't want to face you, so we're going to give you this bad offer. You either accept it and come play for us, or you don't accept it. And, so I think
and
they did right by the player. They didn't want to pay you guys what you deserved. And they knew someone else would pay you what you deserve. So I think
well, honestly, I know my side, but talking about Jurado,
yeah.
I think they still, can we say bad words in here?
Yeah.
They still fucking him up. Like, yeah, he was making 1.3 last year. He threw 23 out of 30 quality start, but he
Yeah.
cannot make over $1 million this year.
Oh, wait. If you sign with a different KBO team, you can't make over $1 million?
You can. It's like the first year again, you cannot make over $1 million.
That's
What?
odd. That's weird.
So you get it like start from zero. Basically.
Yeah, we're not saying $1 million isn't a lot, but we're just saying if you're the best pitcher in the
Well,
league,
if a guy made 1.3 and he's the best
you
pitcher
should
in the
not be able
league,
to lose money.
yeah.
But
You
I
should
think
be
he
at
was
minimum 1 point.
I think he should be making at least 1.5, 1.6 at least.
Yeah,
Like, he's
after
shaking
the
this
start,
year
after
again.
what he had last year, and he's better this year.
Bro,
in a
he's
hitter's
way
park.
better. I mean, but he have better team also. Behind him, he have a
Yeah.
better defense behind him.
Well, better defense. Yeah, he already
A
kept the
better
ball on the
offense.
ground.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
yeah, he's pretty good keeping the ball on the ground.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, you when you sign with another team, the KBO, even as your second or third years, like it's your first year, so you cannot make over $1 million.
that rule's got to change. Then that's a bad rule.
Yeah.
We gotta get you up in there, Dave. Dave, as KBO commissioner.
I mean, there's a
you would
lot of
change
rules.
that.
There's a lot of rules that have to change over there.
Yeah,
I actually, there's a bunch of rules. We can get into that at some point. I have a lot of rules that we could improve, both the KBO and the NPB,
Yeah.
and honestly the MLB. But
we need to check that.
The contract thing though, if they really want to compete, in my opinion, if they really want to compete with the MPB, they need to figure out a way to expand foreign players, because the only 3 foreign players is tough. The MPB can sign, like when I was there, SoftBank had like 10, 15, or 12 foreign players, and they would just like rotate.
Emmanuel, what would you say has been the sort of biggest difference though in playing in Korea versus the American organizations that you came through, the hitters, the coaching, day-to-day culture? What stands out to you?
In the good way, the thing that I most like about a place in Korea is like you are the man. You are a superstar of the team. Like, they take care of you, the fans take care of you, everybody around likes, the foreign players. That's something that doesn't happen in the States.
We like to end all episodes on a sort of similar note. Can you take me back to when you were 16, in a room signing that contract with the Red Sox? Say you could sort of walk into that room. What advice would you give your 16-year-old self?
To be smart, I think sometimes during my career, I took a little bit shortcuts, be smart about, never try to take the shortcuts, always work hard and believe yourself. I think that's one of the most important things that a baseball player or anybody in the life need to do is believe in yourself, because sometimes you don't realize how good you are on something, baseball or in your life or in your career, whatever you do, believe it that you're able to do it. And if you believe it and you trust it, you're going to be able to make your dream come true.
Yeah, I mean, and you are for sure representation of that. I hope I'm kind of a representation of that too for our listeners, that like eventually if you work hard enough and you do all the right things, like you're gonna get rewarded. Maybe not how you think you're gonna get rewarded, but trust the
Yeah.
process, trust in God, and hopefully everything works out for, I don't know, the betterment of whatever the goal is down the line. Hopefully you get close to it or achieve your goals.
Yeah, for sure. As you say, you're gonna be rewarded at some point, even
Yeah.
though maybe not when you're expecting, to get
And
it,
maybe
or
not
maybe
that 10-year big
or
league
whenever
career, but
whenever you need it. But you gotta appreciate the opportunities you have, and take advantage of them.
yeah. Awesome. Dude, Manuel, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate you sharing your
Thank you so
story.
much.
Honestly, it is a totally different aspect of what we've kind of gone over. So this will be a really cool episode, I think.
Yeah, it's
No,
cool.
thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and share, my a little bit of my history with you guys, and be able to share with everyone.
Yeah, really cool. Thanks so much, Emmanuel. And thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for tuning into another episode of Pacific Swings. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll see you next time.
Do we have the button yet? The subscribe button? You press it?
Well, I don't know where you think it is. It's you keep pointing in a certain direction.
It should be at a corner right there
It should be in that
somewhere,
corner. Emmanuel,
Yeah.
can you maybe help out here? Can you?
Yeah.
Press here, subscribe.
Emmanuel's better at this than you, Dave.
We are looking for co-hosts, okay?